Welcome to everyone. I'm Boris Huguenel from Easy Painting. So the video I posted last time did well. I hope that this one will do even better, and I hope that we can grow on this English part of the channel. So we are going to do a little painting. I'm going to put the picture on this side so you can see what it is about. We are not going to respect the entire picture. The picture is only there as a guide. On no circumstances I'm staying a slave of the picture. So the picture is there as a guide, and we are going to modify or improve. In any case, we are going to make it suitable to our painting. So for this painting I'm having a board that I gessoed. It's a white gesso. It's a 3mm MDF board, and on there, I don't know if we can see it at the camera, I think we can. I'm just very quickly drawn the house and some landmarks with a H2 pencil. So I'm not covering it with anything. The paint, it will be absolutely fine for the paint to cover this. And that's about that. So I wanted I did that mainly for the house. So I have something with the right perspective. Okay, so I'm not always starting like this. Often I paint. I draw with paint, and we start from there. Okay, so my brushes, I've got a selection of flat brushes here. They're all Rosemary and Co. brushes. They are excellent brushes. I can't say it enough. Even I'm back in France, I'm still ordering my brushes at Rosemary's. It does cost me a bit more now because of Brexit. I've got more taxes, and the brushes overall are a bit more expensive. But it is worth every penny. They are excellent brushes. So I'm going to use a mixture of Shiraz, and this one is golden, I think. Yeah, golden. They are watercolor brushes, but they are good to go over if we don't want too much of a brush mark. Okay, so that said, that's the brushes I'm going to use. For the paint, I've got a cold grey that I mixed myself, but if I buy it from Rembrandt. Most of these colours are Rembrandt, most of them, not all of them. Earth colours, or like ultramarine blue and some earth colours, I do ground myself. It's only the cadmiums that I don't. So we've got a cold grey, we've got titanium white, we've got a yellow, cadmium yellow medium, we've got a yellow ochre, an orange cadmium, a cadmium red medium, a oxide brown, an alizarin crimson, a viridian green, a cerulean blue, and an ultramarine blue. So as I said, I am going to make it atmospheric. So for that I need a knife. I need a knife. Okay, well, let's take this one. Let's take this one. And also, before I forget, I've got a medium here that I will put to start with, and it is from Sennelier, and it's called Green for Oil. There it is. Also, I don't know if you can see it. Don't know if that lighting is perfect. I still play with the lighting. Often it's too strong or too low, so I'm still playing with it. So please forgive me if it's not perfect right now. I'm trying my best to make it at a good level, at the best level I can for you to enjoy. But it is not always easy. So, medium is here. I've put it in a jar. It's easier. So it goes a long way. We don't need much. You use it exactly like you would use mineral spirit. Exactly the same way. So, I am going to show you. Well, the picture is there, so I'm not going to show you it's there. I'm going to get the picture for me on my phone here, and I'm going to put my phone, no, it has to be out of your way. Okay, all I want is just to figure out the color of my back distance mountain. Come forward. So we are going to paint all the shadows first. Also, I'd like to mention that this video will probably have two parts. I say probably, don't quote me on that. We'll see how we go, or maybe I won't finish it completely. So we see. Anyway, it's maybe going to have two parts. So we've got two distant mounts to start with, and they here. And I'm going to mix so let's start with my grey. I'm having a grey. I'm adding blue to it. I mix enough to be able to use it with my lights as well, my distant lights. Okay. Now it's rich and blue. Take your time at this stage. Do not rush this stage, especially the start of it. Do not rush it, because this color will determine, this first shadow will determine the rest of your painting. And we are going to start with dipping the brush just slightly in the medium. And then actually, now I put it on the canvas, I can see that this is not light enough, so I'll have to lighten it up. As I said, don't be shy at this stage to figure out your colour. If my first stage is wrong, my second stage will be wrong, and so forth. So really, you do want this stage as right as possible. Okay? So, also, don't be shy to wipe off if there is something that you need to change. Okay, let's have a look on this one, and hopefully this will be light enough. Let's put a touch of that second colour down. I think we can roll with that. Yes, okay, I'll carry on with that. Even if my key will be a bit darker than what I initially planned to be. Remember, the shadows have to be flat when you paint them, so we don't want to see any ridges of paint or anything who would render this flat. I mean, render this with some unwanted ridges. We do want it flat, actually. I also paint it downwards so there'll be not as much reflections. Okay, so that is the first ridge. Now let's paint the second one, which is right here. There will be some quiet times in that painting, I know,
not believable, is it? I normally chat a lot, yes. So, these parts will be... I will fast forward this part so you not getting bored in any means through this demo. So yes, some parts unessential will be fasted forward, and so don't be surprised. All right, let's carry on.
Okay, as I said, we paint thin. Okay, second layer done. Now we have to come forward to the third layer. I can see darker shadows here, which we are going to put right now. Okay, so grey, blue, and we're going to start to warm that shadow up with a little bit of oxide brown. Put a little too much oxide. So we add a little grey, a little blue. Okay, that's warmer. I use, instead of reaching for white, I'm using that first mixture, just a touch, to get this a little lighter than what it is here. And a touch more. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's see what we get. What we get here. So I'm not going to paint over the whole, actually mostly over the whole ridge I'm painting now. I am breaking these so it looks like distant trees. Thank you. And noticed I'm still using a big brush. And I'm not afraid to paint in the next layer. Okay, so again we do want this thin. Okay, now we are having another color for the trees here and here and here, which will have to be still darker and still warmer. So still a bit of blue but less. And in that, the next swarm who's going to cool it down, I mean, yeah, it's going to cool it down, but not as much as the blue, is green. So I'm going to add a little viridian. So be careful, because viridian is very strong. Okay, but it cools that color down a bit less. And now I'm adding some oxide brown. Which is going to give me a warmer shadow. Darker than this, but not at the darkest still. So I'm going to change brush now. Take one who's slightly smaller, but not like tons smaller. That's a number 5. Still in the Shiraz. Dip it slightly in my thinner, and let's have a look here. So I've got some shadows mainly there, and they need to read darker, and it does. Read darker than here, see? Keep the shadows thin. It's darker and it's warmer. Let's get a little edge on that. To go to the side of the house there. Okay. Right now, I do the darks. Now, the same dark will be in the trees up here. And to the left. So it looks like we have a group of trees here. So we do want the shadows here. some shadows, quite a few shadows here to finish the side there. Okay. As I said, don't be afraid to paint in. And don't follow your picture. Okay, because your picture will tell you to put light here. It's okay to have a little bit light, but we don't want too much to destroy. We don't want to destroy the form. Yeah, and the shadow will give you the form. But not the other way around. Okay, and now we have a tree here with a few shadows at the same level, so we are going to as well to put some shadows there. Okay, so okay, and then we have trees here, but they are a little further back than that. So I will have to use a mixture, which is from here and here. Use a mixture of those two. And have something which is going to push back that here. And even if it's not very clear, there is a distinct difference you can see between here and here. So it will push it back. Okay, so we keep the shadow to the left, and therefore we are going to put this in shadow there as well. Okay, now moving forward, we have got some grasses here. I need to put something there to show. For now, I'm just going to take a little bit more warmth in that, and I'm just going to add this here. Okay, for now. And I'm going to mix my last shadow color. The shadows of the house will be warmer, but we add them in a little bit just in the front there. Okay, so let's put this here, and let's start a new color here with grey. Still a little blue. A bit more grey. grey is already warmer, and we're still going to have oxide, quite a bit of oxide, and even a touch of orange this time to warm this down. I need to darken it, so more blue, more grey, and alizarin crimson is darker, a bit cooler but darker, so I'll add this in there to have a dark but warm shadow. That is quite warm. Perfect. Quite warm, quite darker. So, let's take a different brush because I don't want to contaminate this beautiful colour I've got here. And I'm going to start to put it okay, so got that darker colour here, still shadow. That's the first line. This is the first line of my I'm going to use this last shadow for the whole lot here, even maybe for here, for the shadow on the side of the house there. Okay, so we have a shadow here, but this one is a bit bluer, so we'll tweak this one later. And this one, there is a shadow, but this one is browner, warmer. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of that in, but then I will tweak all that in a little bit. Okay. Shadow under the roof. anyway, there will be shadows here. Okay, but you can see already here that it reads you've got distance just because of the shadows. I haven't done anything else than shadows. So here will be another line. So that's the shadow, there will be light, there will be another shadow. And there will be a few greens in between. But we do need to put some of the shadows in there. Even if we don't see it in the picture, but it's there. There's another line. It's actually even a bit warmer, so what I'm going to do is take a little bit of that shadow and add a little bit more alizarin. I can see a bit more alizarin crimson in that. Here. Can see it warm, as can see it warmer. So I'm putting it in. If I can see it, I put it in. But I'm careful. I do stay careful not to put just about everything and anything in. Okay. So there will be a gap. It's bigger. As we go forward, it's bigger. So there will be a little gap with some more greens. Okay, and then the last one here, that will be mainly green. So you still have to put some of these in, even if you see greens here. There still will be some kind of shadows there. Okay. So now, nearly all my shadows are in. Let's use this shadow to do the side of the house. But I will grey this. I'm doing it straight with a brush there. I'm going to do it off the side here. I added a little bit of grey, and I will add a little bit of the local colour, which is a touch of yellow. That was a big touch. Here we go. And I'm going to have to darken this now. There we go. But it is warmer. Yes. And now we've got even a little purple in there. So, okay. Now we got this shadow, it was a bit lighter. But still redder. It's too dark. I want a little yellow in that as well. Let's go with that. Okay. Titanium white is cooling it down, yeah? Therefore, we have a shadow the same color as this, but just cooled down. Okay. And here, there's a sunshine, just like here. So with a cotton bud, I'm just going to remove this. To indicate that there will be something a bit lighter. We see bricks and everything in that picture. I'm not going to put them on. Doors. This is we wait afterwards in the light family, so we're not touching that just yet. So I am quite happy with what I've got going on here. What's going to happen now is that I'm going to put the lighter colors in there. So here I need to, sorry, with this one. Yes, I need to give it a little bit more of a shadow here. I mean a little darker, that's what I meant. Maybe a couple of things here, maybe a little bush here, I don't know. Okay. We find out later on. They need to be thin, but they need to be solid, yeah? The shadows. Okay, we'll see in a bit how this goes. So now, let's start with the lights. And for that, we are going back here. We are going to check the time. Okay, maybe I've got just enough time to put the lights back here. And I forgot something. I've got here, we have a wisteria. So I need to put the dark here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is this dark here. See how you find your darks back? And the wisteria is just hanging above the door here. It's finishing here. And it's hanging just above the door here. So that's the shadow of it. There is a shadow on the side of this roof, of this building. Quite dark. And the wisteria is mingling with it. Going down a little bit here. So, for it not to mix, what you do, you remove. So I'll remove the paint here. So I can put in my shadow. The shadow of my wisteria here. There we go. So now, we are going back distance to add those highlights. Pay attention. We've got something blue. I'm not touching the sky yet. We've got something blue. So, and the distance mountain here, really, if I squint my eyes, this here remains as is. I mean, there is a little, very, very little and lighter, but very small. So do I want to do it? I don't know. However, I will. There's a few greens that you can see there. Okay, so we are going to put some. I'm going to put a few greens here. So I'm taking this grey, as it is the grey of the background here, and I'm putting it here. And now I have to lighten it to pop forward. So I add a little white to it. And I have to warm it as well, but ever so slightly. So I'm going to warm it with my grey, because my grey has got some burnt cyanine. Even if it's a cold grey, it still has got some burnt cyanine, so it's still warmer. I have to lighten it a touch. Put a little bit more of that grey and warm it a bit. Okay, that is light enough. I'll have to see if it's warm enough, because being warmer will make it come forward a little bit. So we'll try. I'm going to take a small brush. I'll try with a little dot here, where I can see something. And that is not bad at all. So I will put what I can see there. And you probably on the camera don't even see that. But I cannot be much lighter than that. I could go a touch lighter, but I'll have to be very careful not to lighten it too much now. Because if I put more ultramarine, if I put more white on, I will cool it as well, and I don't really want to cool it. Yes, that's it. That will do it. So where I see here, if I have to, I take the color out a bit. No edges. You have to be very careful. That will be it. That will be it. So I have to be careful because I don't want to destroy what I already have here. So this is going across over there a little bit. As I said, this probably you won't even see. I hope you see it. I'll maybe try to zoom in a little bit, but this is really, really, really light, and that's what we want. So we've got some here too. and it's just for an indication. You don't want edges, so if there's any edge I will take it away. Okay, that is it for the background. See, simple. Now we have to get warmer in the front here. So I'm taking this shadow this time. We're working with the shadows, see? So this is my dark, see? This is my light. Now I do the same with here. I'm taking a good chunk of that, not too much because we have to lighten it. But I take some and put it here. That can stay there for now. So take some and put it here. I warm it. So how do I warm it? A little bit of grey before anything else. Grey will warm it, as I got. Remember, what do I've got in that grey? I've got some burnt sienna. So warm it, lighten it. So a touch of white. Be careful with the white. Be very careful. It will do you a Milky Way in a heartbeat. That's why lots of artists use, or in the past, we had lead white, which didn't do this stuff. So you can get lead white from Winsor & Newton, no? I mean, it's not real lead white, obviously. So I've added a little bit of white now, because I don't want to go too light, but I will add a little bit of yellow ochre to warm it even more. But a touch. See what I put in? A butterfly kiss. I put in a butterfly kiss in that. So now, because of the light, this looks what's the word I'm looking for? Lighter. Let's see next to it. Let's have a look next to it here. That looks a bit lighter. That is very odd. Okay, let's take that mixture back and lighten it up with a little bit more of ochre. I'm going to use the ochre instead of the white to lighten it up. Maybe you have to put a bit of white in, I don't know. I think I'm lighter here. Okay, so now clean my brush. I'm going to clean my brush. Wipe it, at least. Not necessarily clean it. And try out this mixture here. And we try it out. I think that this will do. I need a little lighter here, but here it will do. We'll do the trick. Can you see how green it looks? Can you see it? Maybe I could lighten it a touch. So I squint my eyes and I put it where I can see it. Okay, there is something a little lighter here, so I'm going to take this, put it there, a bit lighter, a bit more okay, so very careful with that one now. There is a ridge here, back here. There is a ridge I'm sure you all can see it. Very delicate touch. And now to finish that ridge, I'm actually going to add a few bits in there. Okay. Now to finish this bit, we are going to add a little more light into it. So I'm using this one again. I'm adding it here, and there's a touch of light green here. I think that will do. Yes. If I squint my eyes, I can see this here. And just here, nowhere else. And it is ever so slightly. Okay. And that is about all I'm going to do here. I may have to come back to it later. But for now, I'll leave it like that. Okay, now moving up to this one. Obviously, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We take this shadow, number 3. Number 3 shadow, oops, not this one, this one. Number 3 shadow. Number 3 shadow. So, a little bracket from here. So this part, I am not going to make up my lights from the shadows, okay? My lights will be made up with pure colors. But in general, make sure that you make your light up of the background, make it up with your shadows. That's a tip, and it's a good tip that I'm giving you. Free of charge today, free of charge. It's not going to be the case all the time. So, we need to lighten it. I'm going to use, instead of using white, I'm going to use these colors and a little cadmium. Because I do need to green it down. And this is a good white. I mean, is a good light to lighten it. Instead of using white, I used a bit more pure colors. So now, instead with my same brush here, I'm going to apply this one here. You can see it, I'm going to whisper, but you can see it coming forward. Can you? See, we've got muted colours. They're nice. I don't put them everywhere, but they're here. And they are getting a little lighter coming down. Just a touch lighter, greener. Put a touch of that green in it. Here to the side. Touch more of that yellow. There touches. Nothing much, but enough to start to see more yellow appear here. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. May have a highlight or two here. With that more pure colour. There we go. That's it, no more. So now we'll have to figure out this green. So these two greens are coming from the same shadow here. So maybe I could start, just use this green here, just to start with, and then we lighten it up if we need to. Yeah? You agree with me? Maybe I could lighten it up now. Just a touch. But no, I'm not going to. And you'll see why in a second. So here, we're using this same green. And I will lighten it up there in a minute. So I'll leave this spot. Let's go back to that one where I'm going to use that same green to start with. No details, not too much. No details, not too much difference between here and here. We keep it muted. Okay. It's muted, but it's colourful here, isn't it? Yeah? See, we don't want too much attention there. So let's do that here as well. And then we can get it up a notch in a minute. So we're going to use it's a bit more sunlit, but it doesn't matter. Let's use this still. Maybe change it slightly. Give it a little different green. So I add a little viridian in here, just to change it slightly, and go back in there. Oops, so a bit more viridian. Touch of my mineral spirit. I think I don't want something too yellow down here, so I will finish this with that. Okay, and I do the same here. With this, a touch of viridian. Okay, and a touch of yellow to do this part here. So we're all still in the same family. We're changing colour a little bit. And we go a touch lighter there in a second. Okay, so now we got that. We are going to apply the lighter yellow on top of that. And that will be a mixture on its own, separately. So I'm going to do it here. And to do this one, I am going to use still just a touch grey. So a warm colour, and a warm colour, there we go. And now we do want to lighten it, and I'll lighten it first with that yellow, cadmium yellow, which is quite a nice light, that is, to start with. It's much lighter than this. Put it next to it. So, it's still in the distance, especially here. So I don't want too much difference there, see? Okay, I'll come back to that in a second. Here, however, it's a bit higher, I need to lighten it. And here is an entire different colour. But I have this here to start with. I can see it in. There we go. There we go. And then it goes lighter as we go up. We'll do that in a second. So from here, I want it lighter and greener. So a little bit of iridium. And a touch of white, but a touch. Now we see touch, not enough. A bit more yellow. Okay. Now I think we're good. And I decide that we're good. So, no details, nothing. We do not want any detail at all, whatsoever. Nothing at all. Okay, and then going here, it will be a fitting colour for that here. A bit darker this way. Okay, so darker, So I take this, put it on there, and I'll have it a bit darker here. Okay, and obviously here. Okay. So now I'll put this one, and then we arrange those. So that one is quite a bit more yellow. And then, my friends, I think we're stopping there for this lesson. We're going to stop it there, and we take it back next time. I have a high chroma green there. I don't want it too high chroma, so I will cut it down with some grey there. Yeah, that's better. That fits. Okay, so form before color. Okay. Okay, Ali. So now, change brush. I need to get that shadow up there. Okay, I think this is fitting. Now, with a brush, who's a bit bigger than this? Because I don't want small strokes. I do want to be able to get over it without. So let me get, maybe I use, this one is still not the right one. I will finish that and then, so yes, here. Let me use, so now we manipulate the edges. See, all these edges are too strong, so we are going to make them fit in the whole painting. There we are. Now, every time I'm moving to the next one, I am wiping out. Starting with the lights first. Okay, and I'm moving out in between. If there is a dark I have to reinstate, I take a little bit dark and I add it to it. Okay. I still don't want anything too harsh, especially up there. Okay. Next one. Wipe my brush. I'll go first in between here. Okay. Now. No hard edges. Remember. Okay. So now we're playing with those darks. Okay. And now here. Okay. Because here, although I saw in the picture that this is lighter than this, I cannot really do it because this needs to come forward. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute this and I'm going to have this one a little stronger.
Okay, we are approaching on 1 hour and 35 or 34 minutes. I think that will do for now. The main shadows are blocked in. So next time we are going to put the highlights and the finishing touches. It'd be another long video, at least the same. So you get that the following week. And yeah, so I'll post this tomorrow, and so in a week's time you get the second part. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking with me. Please share, please give me a thumbs up so I can get a ranking on YouTube for my English videos. And happy painting. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.